Ready?
Okay.
Yeah,
Ready.
Okay. Let's start.
Yes, let's start. Please ask us any questions.
The first question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How does FUJIFILM locate its own GFX100? What is the market?
Market.
Market location.
Market
position. Yeah.
Yes. So the how to say? So the large format sensor system, GFX system. So we didn't just focusing on the traditional, the medium format, large format market. So from the first when we launched GFX50S 2 years ago, we targeted the not just only top level professional photographers, but also the high level, the amateur, the customers. So then after we introduced the GFX50S, actually let's call the traditional medium format, large format, the market actually expanded.
Yes.
So if we're looking at who is buying GFX 50S 50R, so actually 70% of buyers is actually coming from the full frame cameras. Not just switching from the Hasselblad, the phase one, the traditional, the larger sensor camera, but also let's say 70% of the customers, now, the full frame customer. I want to say, the GFX, the system itself, expanded this larger format, the market. And of course, GFX100 will contribute, the expanding this market. But of course, the core target is the top end, the photographers. And also, this time our challenge is we want to expand this market also towards the movie, the shooting photographers.
Okay. So, what do you think is the most strongest part of GFX system compared with the competitors?
So let's say if we comparing to the full frame, the cameras, of course, the image quality, the larger, the sensor format, the simply giving us a higher resolution, the more wider dynamic range, the better ISO, the capability. The simply the best point is image quality. And second point, the traditional medium format, large format camera, including the film camera. So that was too big, they're so bulky, the heavier. Always the photographer has to put the camera on the tripod. They cannot use the camera with a hand shot. But in the GFX system, the 50S, 50R, we create the camera, the much smaller than old type film time, the medium format camera. And the GFX100, now, we have a IBIS system, also without tripod. Not just only the still, also the movie shooting. It's pretty much the suitable. So that is how to say. Our basic concept. The customer. The carry. The larger sensor camera to outside or whatever shooting situation.
I think one more thing could be the speed, maybe.
Speed.
Yeah. Autofocus. Thanks to the new devices. So speed, mobility, as Shin said, and quality. That's the perfect system.
So I have a question about the accessory of the GFX100. So we already have a GFX50S on the market like 2 years, 3 years ago. So how about the accessory of the GFX50S, like the removable EVF? Is it possible to swap with the GFX100, or is there any part or accessory from the GFX50S will compatible with the GFX100?
Yes. In case of EVF unit, if you put the 50S EVF unit on 100, it works. But of course the resolution is lower. But if the customer puts the 100 GFX100 EVF onto the 50s, it doesn't work. So because the resolution is much higher, 5.76 megapixel. But if the customer, GFX 50s customer, at 100, so that 50s, the EVS works on 100.
So it's downgrade.
Yes. Because the EVF device is different.
So GFX100 is very strong body, but what will you do for the GFX system in the next stage? Introduce more lens or others? Or other new models?
So now we have the three line of the GFX. So actually GFX100 is not replacement of GFX 50s 50R. So it's a new lineup. Yes. So because each camera has a different target customers. So especially if you compare the GFX100 to 50R, it's so different. Camera is so different. So 50R is a more smaller, lighter package, and always carry. So the photographers, carry the camera to go outside the shooting. GFX 100 is more professional, the photographer centric, the camera, and comparing to 50R, so that's that reason. It's slightly or not slightly, bigger, heavier. But looking at the function, the quicker autofocus, the IBIS unit, the durable body, the function is so different. So our concept is that we continue this three line for future.
I have a question about 50R. Will it develop a 50R with IBIS? Because some people say want the IBIS will install at 50R to the next model. Will it happen?
If this time we develop the IBIS unit for GFX100. It's actually in terms of the size, it's a little bit big. We cannot put this unit into the current 50R body. So we need another technical innovation to have IBIS in the smaller body unit. But of course, the Fuji keep investing researching how we can incorporate IBIS unit into the rather smaller cameras.
And then about the GFX system, the lenses. About the lenses, many people want to the next lens is the tilt shift lens. Will Fujifilm divide the tilt shift lens?
Tilt shift lens, yes.
It's a I very want to have the tilt shift lens on the GFX lens.
Oh yes.
For architecture, photography.
Yeah, we understand. Actually we have a lot of requests. The boys, but also we have another lens request. We listening very carefully. What we should do. Next. Yeah. It's definitely we understand. The tilt shift will be one of the opportunity for the next lens. But also we have another lens that we have to do. So we still have now GFX lens 10, 11, 10.
Yeah.
Including
10.
So of course we expand more. So the tilt shift will be one of the candidate, but also we are also looking at for the another. So always every day we are discussing it.
So resources and the priority, we put that on the table and decide.
Need to balance it.
Yeah.
I have a question about the GFX lens, because one of my company is doing the VR. You know how popular is the VR now?
VR.
So one of the VR requests, they need to use some fisheye lens to do the panorama. So will GFX develop any fisheye lens in future time? Because some of the people say the fisheye lens is a toys lens. It's not really designed for works use. But in the VR system, we need to use a fisheye lens to do the panorama. So we consider about to create a new one.
Sure. So the one of the thing is how to say. So the of course we have because we are the lens the manufacturer. So the technically so that we can do how to say if we just thinking of the fisheye lens itself so that we can do but also we have to think about the GFX camera quality. So we don't want to how to say deliver the fisheye lens but bad quality, let's say.
Because
or not meeting to the GFX so the sensor system quality level. So especially the fisheye lens is quite how to say so the difficult so the to precisely so the way of the light coming into the sensor surface. It's the controls the light is so difficult. How to say if we just make the this is fisheye, it's maybe possible, but in order to so the all the GFX photographer so the to make so the to be satisfied. So that we need a lot more study.
Shin, so the whole GFX system is now 2.5 years old, close to 2.5 years old. Would you share what have you, Fujifilm, have learned? What kind of challenges have you overcome, and what are the things that it comes out better than you thought, that you didn't expect in this 2.5 years?
Yes. So after we launched GFX 50s, so we actually got a lot of the request. So especially the autofocus speed. So that was the first step. This today. So the GFX100 have the phase detection. So the sensor much quicker. So the autofocus. So that's actually what we did. So until now. So then probably the next step. So maybe smaller, bit lighter. So as you requested, so the why GFX 50R so doesn't have eyepiece is not just only the camera body side. Also we have to minimize the internal the package system. So that probably the one of the quite important point. So make GFX system more popular. Of course, probably price, cost also. That's also important. We understand.
I have a question about focusing barrack on the GFX system. Yeah, and I tried to do some like a portrait shot with the focusing barrack on the GFX, and they come with the starting point, like from the video, but there's no selection of the ending point.
Focusing.
Yeah, focusing barrack mean like take like
the focusing bracketing.
Bracketing.
Yes,
On focusing.
Yeah. So will we improve it, or will it just still like what it doing now?
Okay, so could you say the question again? So what is the problem you face?
I'm facing one problem. Like if I'm taking this camera as a model, okay, I can select the starting point like from here, but I never know where it's ending.
You don't know. Let's say the focusing set is 20 centimeters.
Yes.
But
But
you don't
I
know
don't know where it
the other two shot goes
Yes.
plus 10, minus 10. It
Yes.
doesn't says.
Yeah, it doesn't say, and I never set the ending point. Like I start from here, I want end up here. Maybe it will start and then this part will finish up, but not the other side.
Okay. Let us check. But yeah, probably it shouldn't be how to say there could be some once we have the another the new software the controlling technology maybe possible, but
Yeah,
let us
because Lightroom have a plug-in can work like this, but if I want to do it inside the body, that's no better option.
okay
Yeah.
understand.
GFX system, the lens of GFX system is the aperture is just about 2.0 or 2.8.
Yeah.
But you know some of the other manufacturer they have the one full frame DSLR lens and can use on GFX system with the adapter.
With the adapter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but they have aperture 1.4 or larger aperture. So will Fujifilm introduce some larger aperture lens for GFX system?
Honestly speaking, actually we have a lot of discussion with user, especially photographer who is using GFX system. So we never had the 1.4 or 1.8. So for example, if you use the 110mm f2, that's bokeh, so the quite beautiful bokeh already, so you can get. So of course number is how to say quite strong message to the market, but for example 1.8 is actually the 2.0 1.8 is a quite small difference, and 2.0 so the 110mm already produce quite nice beautiful the bokeh, and if we it's in general technical reason, so that if we need the wider the aperture, so simply say the lens become bigger, heavier. So which is better? 2.0 being very beautiful bokeh. 1.8 maybe so the slightly better, but become heavier, bigger, and cost also expensive. But because the glass, the production development become quite difficult when we go for the wider the aperture.
And I would like to know the GFX50S have been announced like 3 years now. Will you still continue upgrading the AF system of the 50S?
I think in the 50S, 50R, so in the current how to say software to the technology, so the reaching to the maximum the level of speed. So we understand some customer, so compared to the smaller sensor system, so the GFX, how to say focus system is slower. Yeah, we understand. So one of the point is because the larger sensor format, so the system is lens glass itself is bigger than smaller, so the sensor system camera. So that we have to say. So even the same, so the autofocusing technology we have, so glass is heavier. So that we cannot, so reach to this level. So that's so it's general technical reason. So that part we can't do. And we mentioned in today's announcement. So another breakthrough point is the phase detection sensor, which GFX100 have. But unfortunately, the 50S, 50R is without the phase detection, the sensor. So it's difficult to catch up to the GFX100 level.
Maybe we don't need to catch up, but a little bit improve.
Yeah. So once we found the better algorithm, of course we provide maybe as a new firmware upgrading something. Yeah.
This may be the hardware problem more than the firmware problem.
Yeah, so basically the glass itself is quite big, so it's how to say it's a minor software change. It doesn't work so well. So
that requires powerful actuators to move all these heavy.
Need more power to move the glasses.
Yeah.
I have a problem of phasing of the GFX system on the auto-way bands. When I shoot it inside the studio, I have my light set up, and if I shoot to the white background, the auto-way bands seems not too correctly. It's a little bit red.
Really?
Yes. I tried many times. Yes. Will you try to improve it? About the auto white balance.
So first of all, we don't have so much such a problem. So the hearing from the market. So actually, we saw current. Or we don't say best, but I just have to say we don't have so much problem with the current the auto white balance the setting. I think auto white balance is one of the very good point of not just only GFX X series also. So the Fuji auto white balance it's a better quality we believe. But if the customer has a particular problem, also of course we can check.
Yeah, because I have the XT2, XT3, 50R and also 50S. I use 50S for work mostly for studio shoot because I do commercial. Yeah, if I'm going to use the auto white balance on the GFS, 50S or maybe 50R, the white point is a little bit red.
Really?
Yeah, but on the XT3 and others, that's perfectly fine.
Sure. Only on the GFX.
Only on the GFX.
S.
Yes.
50S.
I'll
50S.
we'll look into it. I'll look into it. Come back when we go back to Hong Kong. Send us the camera.
Okay.
We'll help you. Because sometimes they are quality variations too.
Okay, last year some manufacturer joined the competition of full frame mirrors. So what do you think about this? For Fujifilm, do you think what will be changed the market?
Well, so
For
the question is the market. Will be
what
changing
change do you
after
think
the
the market will be? Just you how to someone
Market,
So what-
market prediction.
market prediction.
okay,
right.
okay. So as long as we know, how to say, the last year, the full size mirrorless, each manufacturer, having the new, the cameras, and the new brand is coming in, so that we know. So, but one thing, we are looking at the market is how to say, they are just shifting from the DSLR to the mirrorless system. So if we're looking the bigger view of the interchangeable lens camera, system, the DSLR is going down. So because customer is shifting from this system to a mirrorless system. So the total volume, let's say slightly bit less. But especially if you're looking at the high end, the camera, the category, it's just shifting from the A to B. So it's a kind of flat market situation.
Have you seen the overall full frame? So if you look at the total of interchangeable camera market, worldwide basis, the share of full frame sensor share and APS or smaller, has that shift? Or the shift didn't really happen?
Well, it did. Of course, the for example, the full frame market consists about 35% of total interchangeable.
Yes. So let's say if we just cut out 2018 1 year, so the full frame, how to say, the camera sales, the increased from previous year. But how to say, what wanted, tell you as a customer base, no change. So of course, the customer, now is the time to change to mirrorless. So that's the reason. So the old DSLR customers change to the mirrorless, but it's the same customer.
Full frame to.
But if we cut out 2018, or maybe 2018 October to this year, maybe the full size, camera shipment volume is increasing, but mainly the mirrorless side.
So what will Fujifilm do on the X system for this change?
Mm.
Yeah, many people just looking for the full frame mirrorless because the manufacturers.
Sure. So, but how to say? So the one of the good thing for Fuji is customers start looking at mirrorless system. Even the DSLR customers, because of course Canon has both system, Nikon has both system, so the Sony, so the mirrorless. But when customer, start, looking the new camera, also they take Fuji into one of the consideration. Fuji now becomes one of the option, because especially after we launched XT3, currently the customer is not just thinking of the still shooting. They are also looking at the movie shooting. Then the XT3 4K 60p, the movie shooting is quite strong. The appeal point. Now the people thinking go for the full size, the slightly bigger system, or go for a bit smaller sensor, but also the smaller body factor and also the higher movie. So it's we think the XT3, especially XT3, as one of the options the customer is the mirrorless customer now thinking.
And actually, if people wants to go beyond full frame, we have GFX. So GFX and APS-C. So this is our core, strategy, and full frame in the middle with heavy competition. So we would like to challenge from both sides. Yeah.
I have a question about multi-exposure.
Multi-exposure.
Yes, multi-exposure pictures that we capture with XT3 or maybe 50S or 50R. People say that they only can save in JPEG, but from the other brand of the camera, they can also save in RAW files.
Multi-exposure RAW file.
Yes. Will you try to unlock this for all the Fuji users? On the XT series and also this GFX?
I think it depends on the performance. Yeah, because in case of GFX, the sensor is bigger, so the information is much bigger than the APS-C side, the sensor. How to say? That's all the image, the processing, the lot of the data, that we have to process. So that's the reason. The smaller, the APS-C system is how to suitable for such kind of the shooting. The GFX, because the data volume of also the file size is bigger. So it's a bit difficult to have the totally same function as a smaller sensor camera.
So will the smaller camera APS-C system will have the multi-exposure in RAW file in the future? Will you consider that?
I don't know. That's a big request from the market. So what do you think so? Is it a lot of customer asking?
I got quite a lot of friends or maybe some of the users on the Facebook in asking for this, because why the other brand can provide the RAW file, but Fuji not?
Okay.
Yes, because some of the people will do the editing of the photo in Photoshop, maybe with other software. As you know that the RAW file will keep a lot of the data, so for them to edit the photo is more easier than just the JPEG.
Okay. I take your request notes.
Yes.
And I have another questions about the system. Will you add the IBIS system to the like ST4, maybe ST40? The next
XT40. What is that?
Next generation of XT.
No, XT30. XT30.
Because some people say the IB system and the H1 is very good. However, they like the style of the ST system. So they want to have the IB system at the ST.
IBIS, no?
Yes, IBIS.
Yeah.
Me too. I want the XT5.
So we really well understand your request. Yeah. Mr. Lee, always. Yeah.
Okay.
question about the XH1. As you know, the XH1 is only like 1 year. To be honest, the product cycle seems to be too short now. Because the XT3 here on the market, and somehow the XH1 is a little bit like lower level. I know XH1 is for video, and XT5 mostly focusing on photographic, but they also add some new features for the video. So will there possible to have the XH2 on the next generation, or you will combine two camera system into the XT4?
We study. Very positive.
What do you think is the best way, in your opinion?
To me, if XT series will come with the IBIS system, and there's no reason to keep the XH2 for real.
So remove the
Yes.
XH series
Yes.
from our lineup.
Yes.
But you know, again, the same as Shin said for GFX, having ideas on that, XT series, smaller, lighter body. That's
That's
again the
something
challenge.
you have to sacrifice.
Yeah, so sacrifice something, right? So, but there are many people saying that I don't need the latest device, so much speed, but the IBIS definitely. So they buy XH1. Those customers definitely exist. That's why XH1 is still selling. And on the other hand, there's people who really need the speed and 4K, 60p, right? Everything, but IBIS, it's okay. So
the
Two system.
actually, if you're looking at the customer who is buying XH1, of course, so the IBIS is a major part of the reason, to buy the camera. But also, how to say, they are looking for the better grip camera, the more durable camera. How to say, the camera concept is totally different. The H and T. So I say, one of the things I say is the both line, will be evolving in future. Yeah.
So I also have the problem of the XH1 before working on the photographic, because I don't take videos. And when the camera have the IBIS system in it, and when they try to shoot the photo at a high ISO, there will be more noise inside. Yes, because I compare with my XT2 and XH1, they should be the same CMOS. It's trans-free.
T2.
Yeah, T2 and H1, they should be the same. Yeah, I try to shoot the same picture on the XT2 with like 3200 ISO. And I also do the same setting and also in 3200 ISO. On XH1, the picture will look so noisy.
it shouldn't happen, but
Should be the same inside,
Yeah, it should be the same, but
Same-
I don't know why.
Same recipe basically. So
Yeah, basically yes, but that's the issue I face.
because of IPs.
Yeah, because of the IBs, so the noise will rise up.
IBIS heat up.
Heat up.
Heat up the sensor.
Yes. Did anyone report before?
I don't. I don't
first.
know.
Okay.
So you have two problems. I didn't know.
Yes.
Is it because of the noise reduction level?
How to say? So the basic, the noise reduction algorithm is both same. So the algorithm. So yeah, but it's theoretically same. I say. But or maybe you give the camera to
I tried to already. I tried to already.
Yeah.
She have the
Okay.
same issue. So I think it's something like about the design problem more than just the camera.
Okay, I have one more question about some people say the Expo 2 is one of the best camera of the FUJIFILM, and but However, they looking for the update of the Expo 2 for a very long time. Will Fujifilm develop the Expo 3 or the continuing model of it?
We don't talk about the future.
Just 2 years, not too long.
you know the customer say 1 year is very long.
Okay. I have one more question on the X1 and GFX100. Both of them have IBIS. They use the same technology because when I remember that when XX1 introduced, I see a YouTube. They say the XX1 the IBIS can work with gimbal. And
Gimbal.
yeah, so but I don't see any information about this in GFX100. So I want to ask can I use with gimbal GFX100 with gimbal?
I think it is work because they have the shot of the aerial shot, and the aerial shot already have the gimbal and
The drone.
the drone.
Yeah.
So maybe it is work.
Yeah, so I know it's working, but so at the moment, so I don't have how to say exact information what technology behind.
So I have some requests from the end user of the XT2 and also XH1. And I know that XT2 and XH1 have the same sensor. So will Fujifilm continue updating the XH1 firmware on the focusing, or they will focusing on the video parts?
Yeah. So as I told you before, if we found the better algorithm, we provide the firmware. But how to say? At the moment, that H1T2 system is reaching to the current best level. The performance. We need more probably algorithms, software technology improvement for the future. But also the model we focus is also our internal discussion. So do we focus on the old model and put the less effort to the future model? So that's always.
Yeah, because the XH1
Yeah.
only 1 year, so I think
Sure.
if you keep updating the XH1,
Yeah,
so you focus
because as
on
you said, it's the same. Basically, the same system. We are using the same. It's H1 is 1 year, but basic sensor processor system is 1 more year.
3 years?
3 years before. Yeah. So in that meaning, the current algorithms it's reaching the best level.
One of the problems I want to tell you is that many end users complains the coating of the lenses, the case of the case is very easy to get a scratch or
color fading.
Yeah.
Sorry, on the lens itself?
Yeah, or the lens body.
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 Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Will if to improve the coating of the lens body?
Easy to be just
It's
scratch.
very easy.
Are you saying that our lens is much, how to say, much easier to be, like damaged than
scratch.
competitors, or because if the lens hit to something, it damages, right? It's natural. But are you saying that
Not
our
damage,
lens
just-
is
just-
worse than the others?
Scratch.
I know, but are you saying that it's our, lens is
We
more?
use it very careful. However, it's just a
Scrap and color
yeah.
fade.
Natural.
So compared to other competitor lenses, are they more durable?
Yes.
Right.
So ours is quite
Yeah.
how is it, soft?
Honestly, the other brand, the lens coating is much better. So I think this is, I got the whole GFX lens and then all the lens has gauge.
Okay, so I think our latest, so the lens is I think we have some improvement. Yeah, so let's say so the more durable, so the how to say, so the body factor. It depends on the lens. So also in case of the how to say, so the lower pricing, so the lens, so the material and also the coating is a bit different from the top end. So it depends on the lens, so the product, so the lineup. But of course, so we keep improving,
Yes,
so
thank you.
our technology, and also nowadays, so we are receiving a lot of requests of some kind of the Mark II version of our first generation of the lenses. So that may be the timing we reconsider that. So having the better outer so material.
I have a question about the FUJIFILM application on the iPhone. It's now have been updated to the new version. But there's some feature I'd like to know will you add in. Like if you're taking a picture like a remote shooting on the iPhone, it's easy to control, right? But if I work on the iPad, they only have the portrait mode. Will you going to do some like update if we work on the landscape rotating?
これか。
Yeah. If you're taking picture of landscape, it will be easy to see like this. Otherwise, you need a small screen.
I see.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's also we have in-house so the application software, so the technicians, so the
Upgrade developer.
we discuss with them.
And I have the question about the application with the camera. When I shooting outdoor, I use the Wi-Fi shooting. And if I stand back on the camera, the distance between the camera and the iPhone is around 5 meters. It's very stable. However, when I stand in front of the camera, 5 meters is very unstable. And then
Yes. So how to say? So the Wi-Fi unit to have some direction.
Yes.
Yeah. So where the Wi-Fi unit located, it depends on the camera. So because we always want to try to minimize the camera size. So it's very difficult to do that. So put the always best place. We always found the space and put the unit. And so it's camera by camera. It's bit different. So the camera A, so maybe this direction is a bit weaker. Camera B, this direction weaker. So it's camera by camera. That's we have some point. So the weaker, so the Wi-Fi signal to that point. So.
But will Fujifilm find another method to improve this problem? Because I need to go out to take the landscape photo. Sometimes I will in front of the camera to control it and then to test or to
yes, and also so that we are doing the test always. So we have some let's say the application, then so they can check how the signal is strong, which point. So we always do that test. Actually, we recognize. So this camera, this side is weak. That we try to improve. But so it depends on the camera design size and also the Wi-Fi device. We always try to use the better the device.
Thank you very much. Also about the apps, the applications. That if I'm going to do the live shooting on maybe iPhone or maybe an iPad, we will improve the smoothing of the live view, because sometimes when I try to shoot with the live view on the iPad, the picture will be a little bit delayed. Will improve the smoothing.
So that not just only the processing, but also the Wi-Fi speed itself. So we should improve. But yes, so that also I know that, so that's some delay. So that's happening. We know. So that we try to improve. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Channel.